The race to 10 Downing Street is set to end in just a few hours from now. At 11:30 local time, the United Kingdom will get its new Prime Minister after a hectic 6 weeks of tours, meetings, campaigns and debates. And poll pundits have called for UK Foreign Secretary Liz Truss as Britain's next Prime Minister. Now, Truss, who was pitted against former UK Chancellor Rishi Sunak, enjoys an overwhelming support of Tory members, but that was not the scenario when the Tory leadership race began. Former UK Chancellor Rishi Sunak was the first to throw in the hat for the Prime Minister's position. His campaign video, titled Ready for Rishi, got him a first mover advantage with endorsements from 4 former chief whips. But in no time, Sunak lost a host of supporters like former Health Secretary Sajid Javid and the current Chancellor of the Exchequer, Nadhim Zahawi. Now, in the next few minutes, let's assess as to why Rishi Sunak's popularity plummeted. Now, for starters, Tories also considered Rishi to be a backstabber, blaming him for compelling Johnson to resign. But a major issue that led to his downfall was the tax laundering case. Sunak's wife, Akshata Murthy, has been embroiled in a tax controversy. She had also claimed a non-domicile status, which helped her avoid paying tax. Apart from this, according to reports, Sunak and his wife had retained their US green cards after returning to Britain. While the UK allows dual citizenship, the fact that Sunak was a green card holder raised questions about his long-term plans. However, troubles for Sunak did not end here. The final nail in the coffin was Sunak's stance on tax cuts. Throughout multiple hustings and events, Sunak has firmly opposed tax cuts and greater spending, which has been an unpopular message with the Tory voters.
On this, there's probably not an enormous amount. Waiting to create jobs in every part.
Now, for more on this, we are being joined by Greg Swenson from London, who is a founding partner of Brigg McAdam Limited. We are also being joined by our correspondent, Alex Isaac from London. Welcome to you both. Now, Alex, my first question is for you. Like we saw, Sunak was the first contender to announce his candidacy, and he did garner support from some bigwigs in the Conservative Party. But all the latest polls suggest that he is trailing behind. What are the main reasons for this?
Well, Sunak was obviously a very popular politician when he first came onto the scene before COVID hit, and everyone was just expecting that he would become Prime Minister eventually. And I think that's kind of where half his downfall actually has come, because he's already got that air of arrogance that a lot of the other Conservative members aren't keen on. We saw in the first hustings how he was quite divisive and was quite quick to cut in and cut Truss down. Also, his stance on Brexit, there's a lot of people there that in the Tory party membership that really want to get Brexit done, and they feel like Chancellor was dragging his feet, really. And even then, following on, they put the country into deficit because of COVID, of course. That was no one to blame, but a lot of membership are still seeing that we are trying to get ourselves out of that, and they're looking to him, who was looking after our funds. And we're back in a current crisis of economics now. So I think that it's quickly turned on him, and a lot of members have already suggested that they're going to vote for Truss.
Thank you, Alex. Now, Greg, coming to you, what do you think are some of the major reasons for Sunak's downfall?
Well, I think, Alex brought up some good points, but I also think that the electorate, the people, and especially in the party, the voters of the Conservative Party, are looking for something that's more immediate. They understand that Rishi has a good view on the budget. He's probably more responsible in terms of having fiscal discussions and understanding that deficits are inflationary, and he makes some good points there. But the problem is that the country is in the midst of a cost of living crisis, and Liz has really embraced traditional Thatcherite and Reagan-esque policies that will not only address inflation, help in the short term, but also stimulate economic growth through supply side stimulus. So, it's a difficult choice. I also think that the voters tend to think that Liz is traditionally more conservative than Rishi, and I think that Rishi was penalized for that.
Now, coming back to you, Alex, just ahead of the results, Sunak has said that even if he loses the Tory race, he will continue working as an MP and will contribute to the government. How do you assess this statement made by Sunak?
Well, it'd be interesting to see if he's welcome. There was obviously talk that you mentioned about having his own visa and being able to leave the country and go to California. He's a very wealthy individual, so he doesn't necessarily need this job. And obviously, he says that he wants to stay to look after his constituents. But if he doesn't get on any of the cabinet and Truss actually shuns him, he may not stay for much longer. And ultimately, he doesn't have to. He can leave his MP standing and move on. And he may well do that.
Right. And Greg, who do you think is the preferred choice of the Labour Party, Truss or Sunak?
Yeah, I'm not sure they would prefer either one. I'm not sure there's even a choice there. They're looking at 2025 right now. I think regardless of whether, I mean, we all assume it's going to be Liz Truss, but it doesn't really matter who the winner is, or even 6 weeks ago when there were 6 people in the final run, there's really little chance that, at least for now, there's little chance that the Conservatives could keep the government after the next election. So I'm not sure that Labour cares. They probably would want the weaker candidate, as they assume that they'll be running against Liz Truss in a few years. I'm not suggesting that they think that, but I think they're looking past the next 2 years and they're looking at the next election.
Right. Thank you both, Alex and Greg, for joining us with the latest on these prime ministerial elections.
Thanks, Alison.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.